Comedy Central present roasts. But for a while he was the first guy up. Like the first roast after he died was the Trump roast. The Trump roast. But all the ones before that, he was like the first one up. He always set the tone, and he was like a Harvard Law graduate, but he went right into comedy. And he very smart, very funny. Just didn't like he got some credit, and people have tried they tried to get a TV shows for him, but never really got the credit he deserved. And another one, Patrice O'Neal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can say part of it was his fault because he didn't play the game when he was alive. But like the game of just kind of schmoozing, like he was very blunt and very honest. And I feel like that's why he was one of the best comics out there while he was alive, because he was just blunt and honest.
Do you think with the guy like with Geraldo, I felt like, you know, he was great. He was by far the best on the roast, but I felt like, you know, his stand-ups were great. Like towards the end, like before he died, he had one stand-up special that it was a little disturbing, like how messed up he kind of was. Not in his head, but he was kind of really dark at the end, and you could tell like there was something wrong there.
That's the thing with
I guess that is comedy right there.
That's the thing. Like, here's the thing. Like, what a lot of people don't get, because people probably see, oh, this guy's making people laugh. He's probably just a happy dude. A lot of comics are terribly depressed, like because it's a tough, high pressure, career choice for people, because the pressure's on you to make a room full of mostly strangers laugh, and it's very stressful. And there's people who deal with that stress by drinking a lot. Deal with it by doing drugs. You know, Greg Giraldo was a guy who I think like everyone wanted to see him kind of get clean and not have it end the way he did, because like he was one of the most, like, I didn't know him personally. Like I met him once or twice at like tough crowd tapings, but like the opinion of him from his peers was that he was one of the nicest people in the world. You know, like it just kind of sucks to hear about, like, especially because I was a fan of his too. He's very nice, very respectful the couple times I've met him. So that was, I mean, that sucked to hear about. Like I remember hearing about it happening because he actually died in Jersey. He was supposed to do a show at the Stress Factory, which is a well-known club in New Jersey, and like I believe Central Jersey, like the Rutgers area. He was supposed to do a show there, and then he just never showed up. So they had, I guess, the club owner called the cops to check his hotel room, and then that happened. Yeah,
it's interesting with comedians, and it's interesting to see not the maturation process, but like the process of when they finally go to Hollywood, and how much they change. Like, what comedian do you think has been changed most by Hollywood?
Ooh, changed most by Hollywood. Wow. I mean, for a while, like Dane Cook was going to be, but I think he's like kind of slowly getting his way back to just being mostly stand up again. So I'm not gonna do the popular thing and say Dane Cook. But changed the most by Hollywood. I think Eddie Murphy was definitely.
Oh yeah,
he's. I mean, he did stuff that was Chris Rock level before Chris Rock was around, and then he got famous and
Daddy here.
Yeah, I know Bill Cosby's a current popular celebrity punching bag because of the accusations, but a lot of people don't know he was a dirty comic when he started.
Yeah,
like he was heavily Red Fox influenced when he started, and then he kind of changed because of that. And as we can see, didn't make the best of decisions with his roofie colladaing of basically at this point any female he could get his hands on at this point.
Yeah, well, I feel with Cosby, it's like, could we just let the guy die before we start with these accusations? Like, like it's these. Whether they're true or not, just let the guy finish off his time on Earth. He doesn't have much time. Let him be.
Yeah, I mean, but there's other people who didn't get to have that luxury.
True.
Like Jerry Sandusky didn't get to have that luxury. And listen, I'm not condoning anything that Jerry Sandusky did, but he didn't get to have that luxury either. Paterno didn't even do anything. He didn't help the situation, but he took a beating before he died. The thing is, though, like with Bill Cosby, it was the worst kept secret for years. Like, not a very well kept secret at all that he was doing that, but people just kind of ignored it for years. Like even when Tina Fey wrote a jab at Cosby doing that stuff on 30 Rock, people just kind of ignored it. Like a lot of comedians just didn't want to say anything for a long time, but a lot of people knew about it. But Hannibal Buress does a segment on it, and now all of a sudden comedians are like, hey, I can make Bill Cosby jokes now, because that's the thing. Like with stand-up comedy too, once one comic makes a reference of something pop culture related, everybody makes their material on it.
What's one thing that you think should be like that people have started to touch on that should be untouchable as far as comedy goes?
Oh, that's tough for me to say, because I feel like if you can make it funny, it's not untouchable. I mean, there's stuff that I wouldn't do myself. Like, I wouldn't make Holocaust jokes, for example. Like I would do dark humor, but I wouldn't do like goofy, like I wouldn't do pedophilia humor or stuff like that, like stuff that or racial humor I wouldn't do, because like don't think I could really do racial humor right. And like I was like with that, aside from the other stuff that I mentioned that I just wouldn't do because I just feel like it's not my place and it's in bad taste. With racial humor, like you've got to be able to do it right.
Yeah.
It's got to
you got to do it right, and you can't come off as a complete racist.
Exactly.
It's a slippery slope.
And as a white comic, it is kind of hard to not sound racist. You've got to do it correctly. You've got to do it you've got to word it in a way that you're poking fun at the race relations, but you're not coming off as either like complete racist or complete apologist. You've got to have that middle ground where it's a matter of fact. And it's hard to do. It's like black comics have a problem doing it too. Like very few have a problem doing it right. If you look at it, look at how like African American comics. Look at how many do racial humor. How many of them do it well?
It's maybe Chris Rock,
Eddie Murphy, Patrice O'Neal, Red Fox. Those are the four that I can name.
Yeah.
It's only four I can think of.
Yeah. Well, we'll be right back here with Mike Falcone, comedian, and right here on the Bob Sullivan Show here on LateNightSportsRadio.com.
Would you run from me? Shivers Who the hell can wait till morning? Talk now at latenightsportsradio.com.
Welcome back to the Sullivan Show here on latenightsportsradio.com. I am joined by comedian Mike Falcone. Mike, you were a part of a prank call into a sports radio show, a few months back, or was it even? Maybe it was a year back. I don't know when it was, but
I made a little over a year back. I actually saw the messages about that earlier. It was like late 2013 was when it happened, and I remember what I didn't actually do the call myself, but the station that I'm on, more like radio. Once every while they'll do like secret shows that involve like different hosts. It's a network of shows, but it involves different hosts of different shows, just doing a random, just free for all type show. And we had a guy who does prank calls. His name's Joe. He actually goes under the name Vincent DeMeo as kind of his alias that he releases his calls under for obviously legal reasons. But he does prank calls, so we kind of were having him troll shows. Obviously the easiest target for it was BTR because it's actually pretty easy to as far as being screened. So we were going. I know you guys are on Blog Talk Radio, but,
yeah.
But so he was messing with other shows. So we called this sports show with I guess Nick Ficarelli. You said his name was.
Yeah.
Awful got picked on in school name, but this guy Joe calls in and we're all trying to shut our mouths and not laugh to mess this up. But I guess the guy asks if JJ Burden was calling. Now, we've got a friend who does radio whose on-air name is JJ, who lives in a trailer. So Joe made a reference to this saying, yeah, no, I'm standing on the porch of my trailer right now. Like, that throwaway line led to this idiot thinking that Joe was JJ Burden, former wide receiver of the Kansas City Chiefs.
What were the they ended up JJ got mad apparently, and
yeah.
What was the repercussions of that? What ended up happening? What was the
here's like why JJ probably got mad. Joe was on this show as JJ Burden, like making it like he had no clue who JJ Burden was. He was just guessing off the top of his head. So he's like, I'm going to expose, kind of being borderline racial, but he says I'm like exposing the blacks for the stuff they do, and he's like, and meanwhile this idiot doesn't realize JJ Burden is a black wide receiver. He would not be saying that. Like, how do you not